Hello and welcome to the Purdue basketball beat. I am not Michael, even though I might sound like Michael, apparently, to some people. I am Anish, and I am joined by Andy, who's alive,
I am.
and Mr. Dowd. Mr. Boiler Dowd has decided to join us on the Purdue basketball beat as well. No Michael this time, so rest in peace. But, we will remember him. We will honor his memory.
Okay, good. I didn't know if that was official. We are going to tell everybody that
No,
happened.
see, we have to make the announcement sometime, right?
Yeah.
We should probably tell his family that. Well, they'll listen to this podcast, right?
Listen to the podcast. They're podcast listeners.
God rest his soul. I mean, that's great. I'm honored that you guys would allow me to come on the show today. Always fun. I am preemptively celebrating my IU Big Ten championship right now. What a horrible night. You asked me why I was feeling bad before we started airing. I mean, what? The world is going to hell as we speak, my friend.
Well, so I was actually just checking on the score. So IU is up by 10 with 12 minutes to play. If my score center's right. Oh no, it hasn't updated. Yeah, it's pretty much done, right?
I'll tell you what it is. Oh, that's commercial. I think there's
that's right, yeah.
time left. There's time left.
Yeah, so we got 12 minutes. Iowa can still do this. The listeners will know by the time that they.
No, let's record two. We'll record two alternate versions, have a discussion, and then we'll post-prod. You can fix it.
How about that? Hey guys, isn't that great that Iowa was able to hold off the Hoosiers? Man, I love that.
Well, so that's
and
what we.
McCaffrey digging deep.
We talk about that all the time.
Guys, can you believe that Iowa couldn't find their jump shooting abilities?
Listen, man, you play the teams that are in front of you. That's all you do.
Yeah. All right. So I don't care. I've said that for a long time that I really didn't care about the Big Ten. I want to see IU lose whenever they play anything. So that is a negative that they didn't do that. But I don't really care. Here's the thing. I want IU's fans to have their hopes as high as they can be before they lose early in the Big Ten tournament and then early in the NCAA tournament. So whatever that takes to just pulverize them, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying. I think you had a good. I think you had a good line when we were talking this weekend, which was you said that preseason you didn't care about the Big Ten tournament, and they're really testing how much you actually care about the Big Ten.
They really are. It's been an interesting year. The funny thing is, when you assess, which all of us do too much, when you assess what's happening in college basketball, how Purdue fits into it, and if we were in a vacuum, if we said, okay, here's Purdue's record. They're going to be 23-7 on March 1st. 23-7. They're going to be 15th in the nation, and that's it. That's all I tell you. You'd be like, excellent, right?
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Yeah, right on.
You guys
right
disagree?
on the storm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but you look at the rest of the thing. You say, okay, they really did disappoint because they were better than that. But then you look. The thing that really sobered me this week. Is looking at the national polls. You just got to look. Everybody is this way.
It's still wide open. I mean, like Xavier, we were talking about it. Xavier was looked to be the best team in the country when they smoked Villanova, and then they went and lost to Seton Hall. I mean, like they lost to a nobody. It's like everybody this year. I think like that's what makes me think like somebody like Kansas or North Carolina is going to end up walking away with it because that's what happens, right?
But you know what though? I think that Purdue's benefiting from that a lot as well too because. Granted, I agree that I am happy with 15th and our record right now, but at the same time, I feel like in a year where there's more dominant top 25, Purdue might not even be sniffing the top 20, and I don't know. I guess I just don't feel. I guess I still feel a little bit negative at where we are, and I feel like I feel like our ratings inflated a little bit.
Why? Why do you feel like it's inflated though? I mean, like we have two wins against Michigan, or we have I guess one really.
And part of it I think has to do with is how the losses have happened and just seeing so many breakdowns or near breakdowns.
Right.
Well, so the
Inability
near
finish.
to me the near breakdowns don't matter. I
Well,
mean,
no, I
like,
agree. And I'm being a little emotional. It's after a game, and
no,
I'm
I
still
know.
like frustrated about a few things. But I think it's just my overall. I want to feel good about a win, and I feel like those have been. I don't know.
So
Like,
The Butler game we've talked about a lot. That was even though it was closer, the final score is closer. It was, I mean, Butler pretty much ruled that entire game.
Yeah.
We had one bad half, one horrendous half against Iowa. I mean, like that was the first Iowa game that was disastrous. The Illinois loss that happens every year. The Iowa loss when they were at their apex, what looks like the peak of their
Yeah.
season.
yeah,
Um,
but the second time we played them, we knew what we were getting into. I mean, we should have.
That was a game
And
that I
I.
think was an opportunity.
it was on the road against the hottest team in the country.
Yeah.
That gives
Right.
us a really bad matchups. Then we lost at Maryland in a game that Purdue could have had. Lost at
Yep.
Michigan, which it probably should have had, and then it lost at IU. When IU is mediocre, Assembly Hall is really impossible to win in, let alone when
Yeah.
they're winning the Big Ten. So to me, I think we look fine. We have lulls here and there, particularly when the bigs get into foul trouble. We saw that. So we're actually recording this immediately after the Nebraska win.
Hot off the presses.
Exactly, hot off the presses. But like we had that 5 minute stretch in the first half, 5 to 7 minute stretch in the first half when AJ got into foul trouble, and Isaac had to play a little off. Like he had to play a little softer because he was borderline foul trouble as well. And when the bigs get, when the core of your team gets into foul trouble, that's what happens, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about tonight's game is my stupid job kept me from it for a half, but I got a couple texts. Jay
So you're
told me that,
you're pretty well versed.
I'm what? I'm pretty what?
I got a couple texts. You're pretty
You got
you're
the
caught
game.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you needed. I mean, I think that's all you need. That's plenty. I don't, when you're on the road, I mean, it's funny. I have almost the exact same elements I have at home. I've got the same exact computer I use, same phone. The Wi-Fi's horrible. I don't have a DVR. So, but generally the same moving parts. But I feel like I am like out in the middle of the desert. I don't know why I'm that bothered, but.
I do see the tumbleweed over your shoulder.
Right. Woo.
Yeah,
It's yeah. I don't. I wish I would have seen the first half, but like I said, you don't need more than 2 texts to catch up. So.
Well, I mean, like basically Purdue opened like they always do, which was just absolutely on fire, and then Teddy Valentine was reffing the game, so we had a little bit of foul trouble.
How did Dakota Jordan do?
My
Bird,
goodness.
sorry.
My goodness.
Johnson, what's his?
Bird, right?
Bird. Okay.
Dakota Bird, I think, is what we've been told.
Right.
That Dakota Mathias is the next Larry Bird. But I mean, he's been phenomenal. Like Dakota and Vince Edwards are hitting their stride.
I feel like his health and his abilities is kind of coming together.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, pretty exciting. The thing that I am amazed by is not that Mathias is finally taking his seat on the left side of Michael Jordan, but that he is so resolute with the ball now, which is bizarre. It's interesting for a guy to get hot and shoot well. It's really odd for me for a guy to just find gumption. Does that make sense?
Well, so that was a part of the whole thing, Painter, last offseason, right, where he said Dakota was the best, not just the best shooter, because that was Klein. Dakota was the best passer he's ever coached. And so that's an interesting thing, right? So usually shooters shoot to get hot, right? You see the ball go in, you shoot with a little more confidence. Maybe Mathias needs to see the ball in to just even have confidence, like playmaking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
not everybody is. When I play the game, Anish, here's the way I look at it.
Hold on, wait. Let me. Okay? I need to get my pen. I need to take notes.
Take a knee.
Yeah, all you guys can.
Okay.
Gather around.
Go ahead.
So I'm amazing at basketball. I'm just an amazing athlete, and so it doesn't matter if I'm making shots or turning over or not turning over. It doesn't matter. I still think of myself the same way. I am amazing sports.
You sound like the basketball version of Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Exactly.
You do a lot of winning.
I do. Winning. Oh my gosh. Oh, gosh, you just made me sad again. Let's go to the dark place. By the way, just an update. IU is now up 7. Iowa's cut the lead. So
it could happen. So wait, you were saying your basketball confidence to
my basketball confidence does not matter if I make a shot or if I keep a guy from scoring. None of that affects me. I just play, yo. You know, shooters got to shoot. I do everything well. Doesn't matter if there are results or not. I'm very good. And so Dakota needs to hang out with me for, it'd take one meal. That's my guess.
You just want to have a meal with Dakota Mathias.
Yeah, that's true.
I think so. We were saying we've all season, all 6 of us have been saying that all we need are 2 of the wings. Like, we know that AJ and that's Caleb Swanigan and that Ray Davis are going to be on the floor. We just need 2 wings to step up. It doesn't matter who, just 2 of them.
Yeah.
And towards the middle of the season, Mathias was injured. He had that weird sinus thing earlier in the year. Kendall going through everything Kendall's going through. Vince was up and down a little bit, and nothing, PJ, even though he was playmaking pretty well, he wasn't shooting. He hadn't been put in the position to shoot well. He's had good percentages, but he hasn't been put in the spot to shoot any more than like 2 threes a game. And now all of a sudden everybody's clicking. Like Vince is. I mean, like Vince's line from tonight: 8 for 12,
awesome.
For 20 points, and only 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. It's kind of slacking.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I mean, the thing that's neat about him is when he plays well. I think everybody plays well. I mean, it'd be neat. It would be really neat to see what this team did if everyone played well. And you and I talked about this the other night. You really need some weird overlap, for this guy to play well for this long, and then this guy has to step in, or somebody has to step in. But how about just the idea of having 5 players that could score on the court at one time? Wouldn't that be novel? Wouldn't that be wild?
Well, so we're bordering that with if Mathias can just keep this going, because he's never had an extended period of success at Purdue. And to be fair, he's only played about a season and 3 quarters, so far. So we'll see. But I would really enjoy it if this kind of carried over, and it's timing perfectly, right? Like, this is when you want to get hot.
Yeah. One interesting note to me when I look at the box score tonight is that there's no dominant rebounder. That's unusual. That's unexpected versus a Nebraska team, right? I mean, maybe you guys can explain to me what happened in the first half to get the numbers that way. In the second half, it looked like there were a lot of guys kind of on, I don't want to say cruise control, but it was really one guy on Nebraska that was playing well, and Purdue just was kind of biding their time until the clock hit zeros. But
well, you know how Painter is with managing foul trouble, and take it.
Right.
I mean, he was. One of the times I think weren't all 3 out on the bench.
Yeah.
They had a stretch of Biggie at the 5 for a little bit, because I think both Haas and Hammonds had 3 fouls, I think, at that time.
Yeah. I mean, look, they all end up with 3. Everybody ends up with 3 fouls. Do you think? I'm serious. You guys know more about contracts than I do. But do you think that at the end of the year, all the unused fouls add up to like a dollar figure for Painter?
So actually, I think when AJ picked up his 3rd foul, I think there was 8 minutes left to go, 8 minutes left to play, and he was looking to the bench and expecting to be taken out, and and he didn't. Like, Painter just left him in there because it was almost that like knockout punch, right? Purdue was going on a run, and if AJ came to the bench, then it would give them an opening. Purdue was only up about 15 at that point.
Over and over.
Exactly. So Purdue was up by 15. And
somebody just take a picture of me. Somebody
Yes.
just, what did I
I
hear?
absolutely just take a picture of you now.
I just
So,
heard a shudder. What does that mean?
but Purdue was up by 15, and
Yeah.
Nebraska could have gotten that momentum back a little bit, right? And then
Right.
AJ comes in with 4 minutes left, and then closes out, and it's a little closer than it should be. Well, instead, Painter just left him in. Painter just left him in, let him play, and
Yeah.
closed it out. It was no problem.
Yeah. That ending was so effortless. I mean, that's one thing. It's pretty neat to see him. You know, the things that Andy was talking about, the inability to finish games, and let's just remember they've made games interesting versus bad and okay teams this year. So a comfortable win on the road, pretty good. I know
Oh, I'll take
Nebraska had nobody that thought it was legal to score other than one guy,
Man,
but
Siobhan Shields, dude,
he's
like
good. He's
he
good, man.
he has always been like the jewel in that crap fest down there.
Well,
Timov's a
they
good
had
coach, but
who's the guy who graduated, and everybody thought he was going to be all world. Was it last year when the media all jumped on and they said Nebraska's the one in the Big Ten? We
I
all
think
kind
I
of
know who you're
giggled.
talking about now. It's killing
Uh,
me, so I need to figure this out.
Dang, man, I wish my brain worked.
But anyway, update on IU, only up 3 with 7 minutes to go.
Holler!
See, so you never know,
Holler!
man. You never know.
Right.
We could be savants here.
Yeah, that'd be neato. That would
So what seed do you think we're playing towards here? Four
Am I
fingers.
supposed to speak or just? Okay.
I think I would
I kind of think they're locked at a 4 unless something crazy happens.
really, because I think they could slide to a 5. I hope it's a 4.
Iowa, you tied at 70 with 6 minutes left. Crowd is going crazy.
It's in Iowa, right?
Yeah, it is. That was their. That was
Yeah.
Iowa
So
State
come
crowd.
on, it's senior night.
That's what I said. That's why
Yeah.
I
Come on,
typed about it.
they got it.
Yeah, I agree. That's the Mo shift. Oh, damn it.
You're talking about Petaway, Taryn Petaway.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and back when Nebraska had a good team for 15 minutes.
Yeah, Taryn Petaway, Pitchford, Shields. Yeah, they had a decent team last year, and then lost all of their games down the stretch.
They're kind of a bit like Penn State for a couple of years when they were flirting with success, right?
They're going to be. They're going.
Scores.
Yeah, they're going to be doing that for the next couple of years too.
I know you're very worried and bothered. I guess
I'm not worried. I think they'll be. I think they'll be interesting.
Worried. You're extremely worried. You threw up twice when we were talking about it on Sunday.
That is true. That is true. But that was just you cooked dinner that night, so like I can't. What am I supposed to do? So
I mean, they look that recruiting class. It does mimic the baby boilers. I think you said that last time. Was that a podcast or was that when we were in person? I mean, it's a lot like the baby boilers.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Because it made me look them up, and I don't know. I mean,
no, it's you disagree.
They're going to be. There's still a culture. There's still a culture. I think in Penn State that you're working against, and
I agree.
I mean, it's kind of like Purdue football in a way.
No, we're not going to talk. No, I don't know what that is. What is this football you speak of? I don't know if there's
such a thing. I don't even know what that is. I didn't think Purdue had a team.
So like I'm looking at AJ's box scores from this year, and so in 2016, I think he's got maybe like 4 bad games, like 4 legitimately bad games.
No, can you tell me, was the Michigan game a bad game?
Yeah, I think so. I was about to bring
points,
that up.
10 points?
He had 10
Iowa
points.
with the lead on IU.
So, I think, I mean, like, can we safely look back on this season and call it like just AJ was fairly dominant from like
I think
the beginning?
Andy, what do you think? I know.
You know what? I hate this conversation because he's been dominant for a lot longer than people give him credit for. I think that this whole like mantra of him not giving, not caring and not being active, it's just, I think this is just like an echo chamber, and that became way worse of a thing than it really was. And I think he has things going against him. I think his personality and some of the stupid off-course shit. But he's been good for a long time, and I think it's mostly the national media that like to go back to that, oh, he's finally putting it together.
I think next week I think next week we'll do like a senior week type podcast about both of them. But they're awesome. I mean, he's the best. You know, I love him. He's the best. What are you gonna say, Dad?
What I was gonna say is that if you go back and you look at the tags that you can put in at the end of posts on our lovely website, AJometer is one, and I don't know if you came to the site, Andy, during those times. I know Anish probably remembers these, but I had a thing where I rated. You hate the websites? Yeah, many people do. My mom likes it. I know that. I can see in our analytics that there's one Indianapolis viewer, reader. They're very consistent. Yeah, the big thing is that I really saw his problem with, I don't know if I even want to say work ethic, but motivation as a big deal early. I really did in his career, because I saw him in some games where it looked like he was not there. And I think we have seen that this year. I think that Michigan game that's the one that sticks out to me more than any is. I don't know the stats like you have in front of you, Anish, but that Michigan game specifically, Painter was clearly frustrated with his motivation. He was getting just schooled by a goon, right? Who's the big honky that was beating up on him that day on Michigan? That guy's not good, right? To me, it's one thing to struggle versus Maryland, for a half, which is what they were doing everything they could to take Hammonds away from Purdue, right? And their bigs are very skilled and very athletic. But guess what he did? He kept grinding, kept working, exactly the opposite of what the perception is, and he ends up with 19 or 18 points versus Maryland. Is that right?
Yeah, he was pretty good versus Maryland. Against Michigan, it was Zach Irvin. Zach Irvin was the one that just kind of.
They had a big pasty white fella that was on him who had the arm definition of me right now, which is sad for a college athlete.
Those would be some short arms.
Short arms, yeah. They weren't the length. It was more the lack of tricep. As a college athlete, you should have a recognizable tricep muscle. I just think there should be rules,
I think I would agree. Put in the tricep rule.
Right, and I will judge all the young men's physiques.
You are the tricepologist, tricep in chief.
Any part of the body, but tricep, sure.
Yeah, but didn't you get kicked out of a few AU tournaments for doing that? Is it?
What?
I guess it's not socially acceptable to check out biceps at the high school events.
There really was never. I mean, there were never any charges formally brought up, if that's the question. I mean, I wasn't allowed to come back to those events, but I think it was a misunderstanding. I was trying to. There were guys that looked like here's the deal. In the summer, it's hot in the gyms.
Yeah.
Condensation gets on the floor, so there's moisture there. And the sweat is a problem. You don't want it to get on the floor. So I was helping to wipe some people off. So I was being preventative. It's kind of like preventative medicine, really. I was using a chamois and my shirt in my hand to help get that extra perspiration off.
I think it was the part that you weren't wearing pants. I mean, that was really what really made it a problem.
Now that's ludicrous, because I can tell you it wasn't that I wasn't wearing pants. I was wearing biker shorts.
Do
you see the dude in the combine this week? Have a wardrobe malfunction on the 40 with some of those.
I heard about it. But what happened? I saw it on a little screen. What can you explain it to me? He tripped.
Would you like full details? Because I think that might be
not safe.
Oh yeah, and he slipped.
Really?
Yeah, and he finished it. And I think he got a decent time, but he tripped. I think he lost his center of balance, as he would.
Sure.
And just scraped the whole front of his human parts.
What parts? That's
that's not the great not what you want to be known for coming out of the combine.
So what's Under Armour? What type of shoddy operation are they running that they're allowing?
Listen, all I remember is that athletic director Ryan Dowd signed Purdue up for Under Armour.
multi-year deal. Multi-year deal. Well, I've got a buddy who owns this company right here, 25 Apparel, and they're gonna be the Purdue
You're
uniform
obligated to say
supplier
this, aren't you?
eventually. What did you say?
Oh, I thought we
I'm
were
not
going to.
obligated. I have no contractual obligation to do it. But it's funny every time.
Apparel.
Exactly. You're welcome, Booker. But the he always, like, whenever a team is wearing whatever uniform, will say, one of our clients would have been angry at that. Look at that garbage from Adidas. Look at that garbage from Under Armour. And Under Armour, though, I mean, that clearly they're trying to make those things as thin as possible, but that's pretty unfortunate. I don't.
Yeah, that's not a great one. Not fantastic. I'm looking it up. Is Kendall's season done?
Yeah, I think so. Don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
am I wrong?
Is it at this point? Is it just conditioning? Like he got too far behind in conditioning? Is that what it would be, or?
I think it's a big doghouse, don't you? Doesn't it feel like a doghouse?
No,
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No,
to think so?
I would think it's like he asked for a week or two, or what was it? 2 weeks he was gone.
Do you really think it's conditioning, or if it's more of like the principle of the thing? Because, or maybe just not getting any benefits of the doubt. But I feel like as someone at his level, it shouldn't take 3 weeks to get back into game shape.
Yeah, there's a couple things. If you look at the trend too, one thing he did when he would come back into those games, obviously he got limited minutes after he got back from the hiatus. He would come in. It seemed to me, correct me if I'm wrong, and he would come in. He'd play one defensive set, maybe an offensive possession, come down. The next time he'd shoot a three in the corner and be pulled. It seemed like, am I wrong? Is my memory playing tricks on me, or is that kind of the way it went? Right? He'd play for 2 or 3 minutes, and he'd usually leave the game right after missing a three. Is that about right?
Yeah. I mean, his defense had taken a step this year, but his shot was off, so he couldn't. You don't get minutes for free, right? So
right.
He didn't really have a chance to prove himself a little more, but that's kind of on him. This is before the leave, but. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you just think it's like a combination of he left during kind of like a and not I'm saying like it's his fault that he left during the whenever he had to, but like Klein and Matthias started to step up and shoehorning Stevens back in. Do you think it's just like there are no more minutes or what?
Well, I mean, like you look at Painter's. His old habit of shrinking the bench, especially usually you used to do it just like in December, right? Boom, the lineup would change. You'd lose 3 or 4 guys that just. So this year he was a little different. The bench stayed a little longer, but it does seem like his substitution patterns maybe aren't quite as ridiculous as they were for a while. It seems like they're tightening up a little bit.
He always tends to do that, though, right?
Yeah, he does. He does.
He tends to start with around 10 people that he usually likes, and then whittles it down to about 7, maybe 7 or 8.
I don't question, like you and I have talked about this in podcasts and off. I don't question the person Kendall Stevens at all. What happened to losing a friend is tragic, it's horrible, especially a young person. But it feels to me, Purdue's basketball information is a lot like the Soviet Union in 1982.
I thought you
get little pieces.
But
yeah, no, close. But I mean, there's just not much information comes out, right? And they control it, and that's fine. Everybody has the ability. But the problem when that happens is you're going to have people fill in those gaps, right? And we've seen kind of the ugly underside of Purdue fandom, obviously on Twitter. These people tweet things at us, and they jump right in and just going after the kid. I think that was a little much. Obviously, I think we all agree. Andy, do you agree with that?
Absolutely. He's been kind of a polarized figure for a long time, and it's been beyond.
Sure.
I mean, considering what he has done and what we know he's capable of, I thought it was pretty overboard.
It was, and but there's there's whispers, on campus. What people tell me about him, that he doesn't take a lot of things seriously, is what I hear. I mean, that's all. It doesn't matter about him mourning his friend, but there are kind of like these different things will come in, and people start creating the story because they don't have a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you add that up with him coming back, not getting a significant amount of minutes right away, and now getting none. It kind of looks like it looks bad. You know, the optics aren't good, and I really don't blame. I don't blame Painter. I don't blame Stevens because I don't know the whole story. It just looks bad. It seems that way.
And so Klein seems to have gotten, he's above his level of like abysmal war crime defensively when he's on the floor. Like he knows where to be. He's just like
he did get shaken so badly in that last minute and a half. Though, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Like one pump to the right and like whew, he was so far out of the frame. Oh man.
It was like Looney Tunes.
Okay. Yeah, it was. It was. By the way, I think I used this Clint's a big thing.
Yeah, I think so. So what are you gonna do?
Man.
I mean, like they're pretty good. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's the so Yogi just hit a 3, so that pretty much seals it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Our schedule wasn't supposed to be that bad. Like we looked at our schedule in the preseason, but that's kind of what you get for preseason predictions, right? Like nobody knew Iowa would be this.
Right.
And people expected Wisconsin to take a step back. I think Wisconsin's going to be a challenging one for Senior Day. I don't know.
I have a real good feeling about Senior Day. I feel like maybe it's just. I mean, I think I can remember. Purdue had a disappointing loss in Senior
really
Day
bad
in the
one.
last 5
Yep.
years, right?
That was Iowa. That was Juwan Johnson and Etwan Moore's against Iowa.
Oh no, somebody's hurt badly. It looks like on IU's team. Like he looks like he got hit by a sniper rifle. I mean, he is down. I don't know. In the last, he's busted. I don't know if it's is OG whatever his name is, number 13. I really don't know anybody on IU's team.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
He's hurt. It's too bad. He's hurt pretty bad. I don't know what the deal is. It literally looks like oh man. Oh, I think he broke his arm or shoulder. Something's bad.
Ooh, I'm behind. My stream's behind.
Icky. Yeah, he's hurt really bad. But let's see. I'm watching the replay and let's see.
Oh, just saw it. Yep. Oh, yep.
Just kind of falls down like Coach Krzyzewski feigning. I don't know what. Yeah, that's very, very weird. That is a weird injury. That will not be on SportsCenter because it's the most boring injury fall I've ever seen. I don't know, and he is really.
Apparently, it's his left shoulder. Jawan Morgan.
Yeah. That's too bad.
That's a weird
He's
one.
hurting bad. That's too bad. Hate seeing kids get hurt. But anyway.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
No, I'm watching the game too.
Okay. That's one rule on the Handsome Hour. We have a no TV rule. I think I told you that because that's what I do right there. What you just saw, I just kind of leave. Completely useless to all human civilization. So.
The other thing, I think the other thing people wanted was beating the press. Like that was another one. We had some inconsistencies today as well. Like Purdue had some inconsistencies today beating the press as well. But I think it was more apparent this weekend. I don't know. Like it just one person hesitates and then the rest of the team just freezes.
Yeah.
And
sometimes for as good of a passer as Vince Edwards is, he makes a lot of boneheaded plays, and I don't think his instincts, at least in the open court, are the best. And that's, I think he's one of the more frustrating players because he tends to gravitate towards the corners. And
I don't get it. That's not smart, And he plays smart so many places on the court, but when a press is out, he loses his mind.
And I think they're doing a lot of assuming there's going to be contact. And I've saw it this game too, and they kind of stopped protecting the ball, and that's another problem that they have. They can't just assume there's going to be a foul call.
Well, I mean, to look ahead to the tournament and think that Purdue could get knocked out at the hands of a press would just be impossible.
Hey, can we talk about something? So you guys were mocking somebody's tweet for saying that Purdue could be, sometimes they look like a, what is it? Anish, you can help me out with it. But basically, sometimes they look like a borderline NCAA team. Sometimes they look like they could be in Final
Oh, the
Four.
CBI,
The
yeah.
CBI. I tend to agree. I mean, I grant that CBI is a little bit of exaggeration, but I mean, I think
That's a
that they
hell of an
are a case of they could lose to anybody, they could beat anybody.
I
Yeah,
think they can lose to.
CBI is a long stretch, though.
I
I mean,
think
I
they
know
can
that.
lose to one of the 64 best teams in the country, sure. But that's not one of the CBI. I mean, like we were in the CBI like 3 years
Okay,
ago.
it's an exaggeration, but I mean, I get his intent. I
I
mean,
also
I
don't
think
think
that
I also don't think it's one night and the next as much as Purdue fans want to wallow in self pity and after wins and stuff like that. It's like once every like 3 weeks they'll have a dud. And that's frustrating. That especially with a team that this
Wait,
talented.
wait, 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 wait. You're saying Purdue has had a dud of a game once every
Like once every
three.
2 weeks, well, like once every 2 to 3 weeks, because
I
usually
don't think
it's
that's. I think you're being extremely lenient. I mean, they had games where I mean this second half of the season they couldn't hit anything, and that was kind of part of the problem, right? They couldn't hit anything, and then on top of that, they'd struggle against the press. I mean, that's I can't say that's one every 3 games because they had stretches where you're like, this is tough. This is. It looks like they are really working too hard to play basketball, let alone win basketball games. Andy, do you disagree with my assessment there? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think I lean more. I do agree. I think that it's just overall, it's just frustrating. I guess there's so many talented players, but it never comes together. And how many times have we seen it where we feel good about the majority? I mean, since in the Big Ten season, we feel like most of the team had a pretty good game. It's literally, you have the front court and then take two wings, and they had a good game. But it's just it's uneven, always uneven.
well, there's a couple things I know. I mean, everything's about perspective. I think Anish he's been the most positive of the group. I think of us, all of
Which
us.
is strange, because usually he's the negative one, and usually I'm the one that's like drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right, right, right. So, but I mean, it's without having video in front of you, right? But we've all had video. That's the bad thing. But without having video in front of you, and you look at statistics, you're like, this team's really very good. But then when you watch them and you say, why can't, let's say, Ray Davis, right? What has been wrong with Ray Davis? I would argue that his knee has been wrong. That's what no one has said that, by the way. Once again, my guess is his knee is not great. I don't think he's this bad of an offensive player, right? I mean, am I silly to assume that?
I think that's fair.
I don't. I mean, he was a great offensive player coming out of high school, a slasher, right? This year, all of a sudden, he doesn't ever look to slash. Right? He really doesn't. He looks for his three first. If his three's going down, then other things can happen because I don't think he can create space like he could when he was healthy.
It almost looks
Once
like he's
again,
conserving energy for the other side.
Yes.
Like it looks like he's saving energy for the other side.
That's a very good assessment, a very good opinion. I agree with that. And he's played solid defense, but he hasn't looked like the Big Ten's best defender either, right? That, and then you have the guys who were supposed to shoot the lights out never really shot the lights out. I mean, Matthias had one great game where he really, and that was in December, right? Early December, late November, right? Am I wrong about that?
Until now,
Where
yeah.
he just had, yeah. So I mean, so there's you look at all these things that maybe we all just me when I say we all, I mean myself, of course. That's it. But I raised the bar, and that's really the problem. Did something attack your room, Andy? I mean, it is like.
No, one bed's for my crap, and the other bed's where I sleep.
Okay.
I forgot
You're
to.
gonna have the long. I try to go lean. Try to make it so it's easy cleanup the next day. So that's.
I'm
better.
here for the week. I got some.
Oh, okay.
Over
I'm
here, keep my
transient.
socks. All right. So.
Have you guys? Can I ask you guys a question? And maybe we can ask the listeners too. This is an important question. Do you use the drawers in holiday
You
in
know, it's
hotels
funny.
and
No,
hotels?
I'll show you this right now. I was considering that, and then I didn't want to actually
Uh-huh.
use the drawers, so I just put them above. I put my socks above the drawers because I was like,
Nice.
I
I
can't be
like
that
that.
guy that uses the drawers.
Yeah.
I
Anish, have you
can't.
ever used a drawer at
I
a hotel?
I can't like yeah, especially if I'm only staying there a couple days. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know what lives in there.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly right. That's where bed bugs come from. I think the drawers in the
I
hotel. Is that
I
right?
I've heard that theory. Yes, I've heard that scientific study.
Yeah,
They come from
it's
drawers
in
of
medical
holiday.
journals.
Yeah, that's right.
So. But yeah, so Andy, where are you? Are you doing a work trip or is this escaping the bad landlord?
No, it's for work. It's I'm in Atlanta.
Okay, Hotlanta. What is it? Like 95 degrees and humid today?
It's like 70 today. It was beautiful.
Okay, yeah. Not so much in Michigan. Got 7 inches of snow today. It was
Mm.
horrible. Horrible. Driving was lousy.
It's
But
raining
anyway.
outside.
So guys, you got a chance right now. Purdue has one game left, and then the Big Ten tournament, and then the NCAA tournament. So you can make a really concise prediction about what's going to happen, what's going to play out. How do you see everything? I've already been wrong about my prediction. Nothing about Purdue, but my prediction that my favorite team, IU, is going to come wrong here. Going to not be right. So what do you guys think? You've got crystal balls there in front of you.
That's right. I have something in front of me.
That came out wrong. Um, yeah. So what do you guys think is going to happen?
I think. I think Purdue wins senior night. I think they win pretty comfortably against a Wisconsin team that's kind of a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Like they're fine, but I don't think they're as good as they've shown the last month. Which I mean they've won a lot, but I don't think
Who's their
that
best
they're.
win? They beat Maryland in there, didn't they? Or am I wrong about that?
I don't think they beat Maryland, but they had a good win. They had a very good
Yeah.
win in there.
Yeah.
But I think in Mackey senior night, like I think I think they grab one. It was Iowa you were thinking of, so like a downswing of Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, and they did have
Yeah.
Maryland. I was thinking of Michigan State. So they
Okay.
they have, but I don't
And they
believe
beat up
that
on
Nigel
Michigan in
Hayes.
that period. So
Yeah, I don't believe Nigel Hayes is that good. I mean, come on, like he's good, but come on.
right,
Um,
no.
the Big Ten tournament, I could I could see like a semifinals trip to the Big Ten tournament,
Mhm.
and then we win the national title.
Yep, that seems
That's,
logical.
yeah, that's right. I've already got the Blood Sports room in Houston booked.
Sweet. Andy, those are pretty good predictions.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any point of differentiation there? Do you think? I mean,
I agree with I agree about Wisconsin, but for the Big Ten tournament and for the NCAA tournament, I think that it's all gonna be matchups driven. I think that there's a clear template of how to beat Purdue, and I think just a handful of teams are equipped to do it. But it just depends, who we match up with. I still think I would want to play Iowa again, or even IU.
What kind of matchups do you not want to see?
I don't like athletic big men. I'm not like I like them. I like to hang out with
Sure,
athletic
of
big
course.
men.
Of course.
I just don't like to have to play against them.
Right. I don't mind playing against them. If it's a real physical game, I enjoy it. I'll be honest.
A lot of posting up.
There's a lot of posting up. Yep, I love that. I wouldn't be face to your basket type guy. I'd back that down every time.
Like Mark Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. No, but here I agree, and I'll go one step further. Let's say, how about just big men that can shoot the three? That's scary to me because that's really where Hammonds doesn't have much he can do out there, right? An athletic big man.
Or Swanigan. I think in both, Swanigan and Hammonds. I think the four is just as dangerous.
So, like a team like, if you guys watch Utah play.
So I was absolutely. Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, he's very good and he can do a lot of things.
I was about to. So I think Lunardi's updated bracket, like for this week, had Purdue at the 4 seed, I think, and then and then
It's a harder bracket this week than last week. It is guessed.
Utah at the 5. Yeah, I mean, like last week's bracket was fairly friendly to us.
I like that one a
I
lot.
mean, Virginia was the number 1 seed. I don't know. So it's like the nightmare, right, is seeing somebody like Kentucky at the 6 seed. Like if Purdue fights
exactly
all
right.
for a number 3 seed, and then they get to play Kentucky, a talented, underachieving team like Kentucky in the 6.
Yeah.
I mean, like that would be a little unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't want any part of that. The good news is that Lenardi, right? Is that where?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
no? Who did? Yeah. His opinion really means nothing. It's the easiest job in the world because there's no accountability, and he just kind of guesses and types about it, and everybody's like, "Oh, what did he do this week?" I mean, I don't know if you saw on our Twitter feed. I said I'd take this matchup after the last week's, with Villanova being the number 1 seed. They'd have to go through Butler, and he said, somebody said, "You do know that it doesn't matter." No, I hadn't figured out. I thought he was the NCAA tournament committee clown.
No, but I hate the discussion. I'm like, oh, they have us playing Texas A&M. Oh, and then I start analyzing that. I'm like, really? Like, that's. I guess I'm in the opposite of opinion. I can't stand that. Like, overanalyzing.
Well, I think we're on the same opinion. I mean, I was being somewhat facetious, really. It's neat to see Purdue up there, but that his whole shtick, his whole deal is that it's just a conversation starter, something to do for ESPN, right? I mean,
no, it's nothing else. Entertainment. It's not like science.
Right? No, it's not like it's not science. Shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Unlike most things on ESPN that are scientifically based. So.
That's right. So I think we'll do
like Kuiper, like Mel Kiper, all science there.
Oh, Mel Kiper.
Damn networks.
So I think we'll save questions for next week's podcast, except for this one. Will there be crying on Sunday during Senior Day?
Dude,
are you talking? Is Travis here? I didn't know if he had called in. I didn't know if he'd called in. So I would say by us, no.
But what about Ray? What do you think? Do you think Ray Davis cries?
And he is entitled to cry.
Oh yeah,
he has sweat and bled and.
I think AJ looks like AJ, right? I mean, like AJ just has AJ face on, right?
He'll make a joke.
He'll make a couple jokes. They'll be funny.
Right. I would. Man, you think? Gosh, it's like IU just won the damn national championship. This is unreal. Unreal. These Sports Center. I mean, their Sports Center. They're showing a giant screen just a second ago of the IU student section in Bloomington. Holy moly!
You know the funny thing is, and IU fans will celebrate this, but you ask them, "Oh, it's good. You have Crean for another few years. You should feel good about it." No, they're not happy. Don't let their smug faces fool you.
I hope really happy. This did enough to get him another extension. That's what I hope. I think that would be fantastic.
Hey man, two Big Ten titles in 4 years.
Yeah, that's right. Extend him. I love it. I want that guy there. That's my guy.
I think IU fans feel the exact same way about Matt Painter.
They may, but Painter's record's decent against IU.
It's Painter and Crean is kind of like have you seen Kingpin?
I have.
Yeah.
Like Bill Murray and what's his face like playing that tournament. They're both like disgusting and old and balding.
Right. We were good a long time ago. So yeah, I don't think either one is too much of a threat to the nation, So, but Crean will keep getting a blue chip every other year. So that's not going to go anywhere, I don't think. Does he have anybody coming in next year? Is there a 5-star coming?
I think it's more IU than Crean. IU will get a blue chip every year. I mean, the program it sells itself.
And I don't know. I think Tom Crean's I think Tom Crean's
I'm not saying he's not a good recruiter, but who's had a hard time recruiting him?
Cancel your engagement and go and marry Tom Crean, you jackass.
I might.
You love him so much.
I don't have enough hair gel, dip spit cups. for the sidelines. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go, I'd
Will
like
you
your.
cry, Nish? We need to ask you that question. I think.
If AJ, I think I'll unload a few bucketfuls of tears because I won't get to
Okay.
watch AJ again.
I I think you'll be able to watch AJ play for the Pacers. He'll be 12th man.
Oh, that'd
And
be
he'll just
great.
sit
I'd buy all of the jerseys. See, I don't
up.
know.
Exactly.
So, okay, I hate the Bulls, but I know that there's a large contingent of Purdue and Chicago Bulls fan like overlap. I don't know how you're a Bulls fan and you don't buy like every single Etwan Moore jersey out there. But anyway, I would like just before senior day, I'd like your best Stephen Torres story. No, I'm just kidding. He's a senior too, though. He's going to be graduating. Congratulations
Yeah.
to Stephen Torres. I think he got some playing time today.
Oh, good, good. That's very good.
Exactly. Those are the important things.
Stephen Toyer had a key couple of minutes 2 seasons ago when everybody had the flu. Remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
At Penn State or somebody like that. Toyer and McKeeman both played in the same game.
Like on purpose?
Yeah, yeah. Remember that?
Huge administrative mishap.
Nothing against those two guys, but if that happens, are they both out there at the same time? The coaches were checking. I've looked down at the bench. It looks like, yes, they're not on the bench, so they must be on the court.
Just played off. Just played off like on purpose.
That's right. Now we have to keep them in to make it look like it was intentional. Let's keep them in there for a couple minutes. No, I appreciate any player that's a hard job. I mean, just getting beaten on, and then you don't get a scholarship. He didn't get a scholarship, right?
I think he got 1 year, maybe. Like 1 year where there wasn't.
Good. I hope. I mean, they earned that. It's a hard job. I mean, I couldn't keep my grades up just going to the co-rec and playing basketball, let alone traveling with the team and having to practice every day.
Hey man, it's cool. It's a cool gig.
It is a cool gig. You get some sweet gear too.
That's true.
So.
That is very true. Yeah. Sweet free gear.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, I feeling you guys seem to be on like you're both simultaneously
We're guarded,
feeling
okay?
good and bad.
We've been through a lot, and just let us be guarded.
Yeah, exactly. Let us see.
I feel great. I think this team's a lot of fun. I love this team.
Yeah. I think I'll be honest. This is a weird thing. It may not make any sense, but I actually think this time last year I was having more fun watching Purdue play. The fun diminished quickly at the very end when
the Cincinnati.
Gosh darn it! They ruined my fun a lot in the Cincinnati game. But I was so I've said it to you guys before. It doesn't matter basketball or football. I love being surprised, being shocked when my expectations are low. And they really took my expectations through the floor in December last year. So I was like, man. Fold it up, it's over, And then they played so darn well in February, and so this year, my expectations were high. It's like, you're ready for that new Jurassic World movie to come out last year, and then you go see it, and you're like, this is the exact same movie, and your expectations, it did not pay off to have those high expectations, right?
Must have been a very hard, scarring movie-going experience for you.
Yeah, similar. It's a similar type of thing, really,
Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I figured you would. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't train Velociraptors. That's just dumb. That's a stupid idea.
Listen, Chris Pratt can do what Chris Pratt wants to do. All right. At this point, I think he's earned the right to do it. His triceps look fantastic, so I think he's earned it. Yeah, anyway, we are. I think we are so far off at this point. But
this is my fault.
Is it triceps? I really thought we could discuss a little bit. Chris Pratt's
That'd be a good idea. Maybe can we do this? I think maybe have an entire basketball beat that's about tricep discussion, and
I got some hot tricep takes. I could get some hot tricep takes together.
Wait, tricep scoops. That's the thing. I know all the inside info on triceps. So, yeah. So I look forward to that, and everybody out there who's listening, they can tune in too. That'd be great.
Next week's episode of the.
So how do we do this? How do we tune in? Like tricep talk. Everything handsome hour, basketball beat, and tricep talk. Part of the. Spoiled Sports Podcast Network.
Subscribe and rate on iTunes, SoundCloud, all those things. And enjoy. Thank you for joining us on the Tricep Talk hour. We appreciate the time. Thank you, Ryan and Andy. Appreciate it.
Great seeing you guys.